Hello everyone, a warm welcome to all of you. And firstly, I want to congratulate to all of you who has cleared NID round 1. And it is really a proud moment to all for all the BRDS team. I'll not take much time of yours, and I'll introduce to the Gauri ma'am, who is the alumni, who is the faculty over here, who will give you the guidance regarding portfolio and your thematic things, what topics they have given, how you will achieve that things, and how you will go through your portfolio in all your sessions. And today we have three NID alumni who are the students of BRDS, and they are now in NID and they are from 2020 batch. That is Samriddhi, Preksha, and Farhan. They will show their portfolios to you and they will guide you and they'll tell you about their journey, that unka portfolio session and all thematic वगैरह and their interviews, how they go through that and how is the journey, how they did work onto that. So they'll all guide you about it. So warm welcome Gauri ma'am, Samriddhi, Farhan, and Preksha. We are so happy to see you all over here. And I think your guidance will help all of them and they'll achieve their goal and they all will be in NID this year. Over to you, Gauri ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Hina ma'am. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm interacting with so many bright minds, and it's a really great feeling when you are interacting with like-minded people. Me being pass out from NIT, and jab you find yourself talking to students who are now at the final stage of just getting through, we can understand your anxiety. Like ma'am, I would like to congratulate you on your work. Studying in an online medium, you have really done well. There's no doubt about it. Give yourself a little pat on the back, because you've nearly completed three-fourth, one-third of the journey. Okay, it's just a little bit left. So continue, but not with any more tension, not any more anxiety, but with a lot of freedom, fun, and excitement, which you will unveil in another 1 week and so. So I will take you through a short presentation, and I would like to discuss about things that are worrying you in terms of your requirements, what NID is asking you to submit. And since we already have alumni from NID, I would like you to really interact with them, because that will give you a hands-on experience, hands-on, minds-on experience, what they have gone through and how it can benefit you. So I will keep myself to task, and you guys can make points, whatever you understand out of whatever I am telling you. If there is any question, we will definitely take up towards the end, but keep your pencil and pen ready, and we will begin. We will cover a couple of things here, which it's quite specific. So the things that I will include in my presentation is definitely how to compile your samples of work, which is also more correctly called portfolio now. What points do you need to consider before you submit your work? We will unveiling the theme-based poster topic. The two topics that are there, we will discuss about them. We will do quick brainstorming together. Of course, you will have your own ideas, but it will give you a little heads up what you can think. But always remember, what will come out of your head is the best. So trust your intuition, and you will get the guidance, of course. Along with quick brainstorming, we will look at what are various ways you can present your work and tips for making an effective poster. And so I will begin. Just a little information. I'm certain you really know about it, but just in case you have missed this, you have covered 70% of the journey already. Just like I mentioned, the DAT prelims was 70%, so you have already done all the hard work. It's only 30% left, which at present seems to be the theme-based poster and the portfolio, which you require to submit. That's the DAT means requirement from NID. Apart from that, another FYI, that between yesterday until the 28th June, you would require to submit the work. You would require to submit a theme-based poster. We've taken out quick points, and that is, there are two themes given. You have to choose any one. The page size requires to be A3, and single file needs to be submitted. Single file needs only one. Okay. Digital or manual, you're free to use any medium. You can combine both, of course. The format they want is PDF, that's certain, nothing else. And the document size must not exceed 10 MB. That's for the theme-based poster. The other thing is samples of work portfolio, which you require to submit along with this, requires to be compiled in one single document. Many pages can be presented together and they can be combined into one single document. I'm certain you are more tech savvy than me. I am, I probably am little old hat, but you know more than me. So require single file means a single file, cannot be two. PDF, it requires to be in a PDF format, and the document size is 10 MB. This is the crux that we have taken out for you. And so now we would really get to the plan. And so we would talk about portfolio later, but I will just give you a little idea what portfolio would mean. See, you have to really have a plan and you have to work on both of them together. There must be some of you who already have a lot of work, you have content, that means you know what to include. So if you don't know, or at whatever stage you are, you would require 2 days probably to get your content together. There might be some people who have not done any significant work in terms of collecting the content. Now we will talk about what are the different kind of things that you can include. We will talk about it also. Then sorting out will take time. I mean, you would require to choose your work. And since this needs to be your best work, or the work which you think expresses your style and you really like, and you're convinced that this is my original work and I would like to have it, you require to sort it out. So sorting would definitely be taking 1 minute. We have done this because you really need to plan it out, go backward in how much time I would be needing. If you do this, towards the end, you will be a little eased out. Of course, be saying all this, you still will work the way you want. But if you do it like this, out of the experience, we can say it works well. Third is compiling and fine tuning. This will take a lot of time. Don't take this lightly. A lot of children think that I have all the work, I have done the sorting. So, compiling should not take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time because once you put in a format, you would require to see how is it looking. And you would at that time be taking feedbacks as well from many people. So that would be, working on it, taking feedback, at least 2-3 days definitely for that. And you should have this one notion in mind, keep it simple. Don't complicate, it is your work which will speak. And the 2 students, I've already seen Samrithi's portfolio. She's done a very simple portfolio. Her work is very good. And so you will find that simplicity is maintained in that portfolio. That's probably the key. Formatting, that means checking, quality, spelling errors and things like that. You would require some time for that. So overall, probably you would say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, and that's the time you have. And simultaneously, you will be working on your theme-based poster. The good thing about this is that you don't have 45 minutes or 15 minutes like the way you have in your first round. So you have time. You have time to ideate. I'm sure you already have got some ideas together. So we will definitely talk about ideas. What we think can you put, but remember again, it should be coming out from your mind again later. What all is possible. So ideation or brainstorming will probably take a day. If you've already done it, then you've covered that. Rough layouts, very important. Composition of a poster, we'll talk about that, will take some time. Then, making and creating, of course, we know that's the main thing, because ideas will stay ideas unless and until they are put on paper. And so it will take time. You have to think, if I'm combining processes, I'm doing many things, then it will take time. It's not going to be, some few hours job, and, putting your thoughts together, you will have multiple ideas, pouring in because you want to give your best. So you have to give little more time to making, definitely. And finally, finishing. Good work is always finished well, and that's something you will learn as you go in NID, that is what their focus is. They like the process, but unless and until something is finished well, you will never say that's good work. So finishing would be important. Somewhere, some color here, some color there, some shifting of text there, some this, that, a lot of things coming in. That would take time. And remember, you will be in a state of panic. So if possible, keep a buffer day. Just somewhere you have some breather to say, okay, now I've done everything. Do I need to do something else? Okay. So I'm not sure how you're going to squeeze in everything. I already presume that, some 40-50% work is done. So, somewhere, give some time to yourself where you want to say that, is it all, or do I need to do something else? So let's talk about the theme poster. And I've just reshared the thing that we have said before, but we will get to the topics. The 2 topics are depict through drawing an event that inspired and motivated you in life. And the second theme is draw the situation and experience of waiting in a line. Now you will see I have underlined some stuff here. The reason being, in every question that NID would give you, or probably any question you would ever attempt, probably in future you will have clients to work with. So there is something called, command terms. Like probably that is your catchword. I mean, don't focus much on drawing, because anyways you'll do it manually, or that's the technique of doing it. But try and brainstorm on this. Thus your brainstorming requires to be divided into parts. So you have to think about, on one side, medium of presentation. On the other side, what do I really mean by event? Which event? Which event? List the events. Think about the events. There will not be one. There's not going to be one. There'll be more than one, depending upon how experiential your life has been, or many other things. So it could be coming out from various, it could be personal, it could be in school, it could be through a friend, it could be anything. Now you have to decide what is that event, and which really inspired you. Inspired you in what way? Inspired you and motivated you to do what? Okay, what made that change in you? So what was the inspiration behind? What clicked you? So you have to write it down, or probably sketch it out. Some people are very visual, so they will start to doodle and think about this, and others would be more interested in writing, so they would write. So you think about this event inspired and motivated you in life. It's not going to be a simple thing. But the first one is really more requires a lot of conceptual thinking. The second one is more fun and frolic one, where it says that you have to draw the situation, to really engage yourself in imagining yourself in that situation and that experience. So we will talk about it. So again, here the word that you require to focus on is the experience. Good, bad, feelings that came into your mind while waiting. So what waiting has got to you. So that you have to build around these words and then come up with your ideas. And so what we have done is we have roughly tried to put things. So when you're thinking about the first topic, if you're thinking about the first topic, whatever event to bring into your mind, it would be better if that is positive. It should really be positive. You don't know whatever event might itself be negative, but your drawing out of it should be really towards a positive and purposeful direction, because you will require to express it on paper. So if it is not very positive and purposeful, then they would like to see how do you think about situations, how depth you have if you choose this topic. So probably what is your learning out of things in life. So it's probably too heavy for somebody who's just come out from grade 12 and I really want to just move ahead in life and I don't know about this. So probably it's a little more conceptual thought, but I'm certain that you guys have a lot of things to share about your life. So keep it positive and purposeful, very clear. And clear means that you cannot build in too many ideas, that event. But if you will not be genuine, that's a third point. If you are not genuine, you're just making up a situation, then I'm certain it will not be clear. So when you know that something really genuinely happened, that's what they're asking. Genuinely, be genuine. If something is not happening like that, then don't do it. Do the second one. So keep it very genuine and honest, and then you will get a clear idea. Don't mix up ideas. Don't have too many thoughts. So keep it simple, because then you will be able to express it creatively through the medium you want to. Now you have many ideas. You want to put it on that A3 page to prove the point that really you know it, but you have too much work. So the key here, even in the portfolio and the theme-based poster, is that you require to be very clear and genuine, and that would lead to more creativity, and you establish the connection with that event. You will be able to really bring it out. So why, when you say that, probably you would imagine this when your mother is really cooking something with a lot of heart. You would say the food is really good. Khana bahut acha hai. The food is really good. Why? Because she's able to establish that, express her love out of that. No, we're not saying that you're going to express your love out of that, but the thing is whatever you're drawing on paper needs to have a connection with whatever you have experienced. And that's only possible if you're clear. So write down your ideas, but be certain of what you want to present. And that would also give you, good point to talk about, just in case you require. Really don't know that state, but just in case you require to talk about it. Maybe, because it's still not certain that whether you will have an interview, and we are not really looking forward for that, but just in case, since they have not also said that they won't have it, or probably the website does not say that. So just in case, you are asked to have an interaction, then probably it might give you a chance to talk. So though I'm not saying that you should prepare in that direction, but of course, if something is nicely done and it's clear and genuine, you'll be able to have more, be able to present it well. and of course a lot more. So these are what we could think of, but definitely you would have a lot more. Think on these lines, but continue to build on what more. So that can be a good starter to begin your brainstorming if you've not started already. The second one, draw the situation and experience of waiting in a line. Now in this one, it could be sense of humor. I mean, humor rather than frustration. I'll pick up humor. Because you know why? Because it's very easy to find out faults and everything, but it's very difficult to find the good things. And that, as a design aspirant, you have to do that, because you have to find out the goodness. Because that's what you would project through your work. So therefore, humor could be a good experience to catch. A fun-filled experience that you had, something learning. You've learned something, but probably it was the sense of great feeling of happiness you had while being in the line. Why do we have to think that waiting in the line is going to be a disgusting experience? Yeah, most of the time it is like that, but probably what if something is different? Because that the difference, they want to see your ability to wait patiently. Basically, behind this question is actually, how do you take when you're supposed to wait about things, how do you take it? So that's the bottom line for that. So maybe you empathize with people, or probably empathize with somebody. Somebody is on calls. Think about if you have really experienced it, then think about the situation. Somebody talking on phone, and probably you would have overheard something, and you probably had a thought, probably God bless him, or probably you empathize with someone's situation on the phone. Somebody standing in line, probably old enough. What kind of experience would you like to bring in? And then enlightenment would be something that made me think about something, made me really positively think about something. And probably you made up some new friends. That was the experience, finding new friends. Or probably you were in the flights of fantasy thinking about something. You never know, you're lost, and then all of a sudden that wait was over. So it depends upon you. But in the second situation, you can really, it is more it's more imaginary, whereas the first one requires you to be very conceptual. But it depends upon what choice you make. You can have questions regarding that towards the end. So when we are talking about the first one, not the first one, probably just take the two posters and we think about ideation. How are you going to ideate? Now, we have put this together, but this is just to bring to your focus. Now, you will find the students, we have the students who will talk about how they did it last year, the 3 students we have. But you would have to understand this is what is possible. Last time when they made the thematic reflective presentation, they were very creative. They tried probably everything on plate. And sometimes I would also think that's really a lot of imaginative work going on there. So, but one of the ways is using the more clear-cut ideas, you will use a storyboard or a comic strip, which will focus on you. If you talk about the first one, depict through drawing an event that inspired and motivated you in life. So probably, it could be a storyboard. But how is that storyboard can be? That depends on you can actually have a self-express photography, a photo shoot, enacting everything, enacting the event in a dressed form, and that you've taken as a movie strip, and that you put it together, okay, and then written on it, so that you can have a dance sequence. You never know. You can have a drama sequence. Last year, I remember some people tried even they made shadow puppets, and then they enacted the whole thing, and they and then the person put it into strips, comic strips, and then added information. Somebody made a set, and then you would have frames, things happening, and then probably you would just compile it together in that one theme poster. Of course, others kept it very simple. They used metaphors meaning that probably you have something as a center of your poster, or something as a center of your work, which is going to which is representative of what change you experienced. Okay, so probably a note which you all of a sudden get, you note that you have from the past, you sketch out that note, or stick that note, and probably build a poster around it. A photo, your photo which makes you think about that event and that journey. A gift that you have, a trophy, a person, that person becomes a limelight of that poster, and probably you build everything around it, or you yourself are in the middle and you're building a cycle around you, things that happen. So it could be using real pictures, of course, real pictures from that event, and then creating composition, which is just a way of creating composition. Just like composition can be created through line and shapes and color and texture and pattern, it can be created through pictures as well. It can be created through materials as well. It can be, mixed media is what, using different materials to create a composition to give you that feel. So basically, it's an open-ended field. You can really try all of it. But remember, the key line is keep it really simple. I mean, don't try and mix up too many ideas. Choose the one which works with you the most. Probably you could, that event has led you, motivated you, and you've got a life, life caption or life motto or something like that. You can build around that, or you can depict a poster and have a central idea. Could be a slogan or a caption. There could be icons coming out of something, probably you in the middle, like the one you see here, something that happened. It could be small pictograms or 2D representations, of course, which you already know. So how would you do it? I mean, it's an open-ended idea. Remember, whenever you are working on anything, I mean, only out of the limited experience I have, I can say this, that you can see everything, but always choose something which you click with. Okay, and try and keep your element in it. Suppose I'm really good in watercolor medium, so I would like to bring in that somewhere. I'm really good with charcoal. Why not? Can I not introduce that? If I'm really good in mixed 3D modeling, is it possible for me to bring that? I love working with fabric. Is it possible to work with that? Just that is your element. Of course, you can have ideas, but when you're working on something which really is going to represent you, that your element has to be there. And for the second one, of course, you can, it could be expressing the feeling, capture the feeling. It could be anything. So for a negative one, it could be disgust. For a positive one, it could be, something like laugh out loud, anything. Great scope for artistic expression. Visualize the moods in color, the mood that you are in colors, texture, detailing, but connect it with words. So you would try to connect the colors with the words that you are having in mind. So what kind of feelings you had, you're connecting the feeling with a particular word, and then the word is being demonstrated or composed, represented with color, or lines or materials, and then you build around it. So that's it can really, if you can have a central slogan written in the middle of the theme poster, then you can work with a lot of things around it. But the second one has more scope of expression than the first one, because it's the feeling you're expressing the situation and experience, which is much more subjective, and then you won't be required to, it can be played around with. That's an important thing, and we have been discussing this also in our classes, and you by now know this, the value of creating a composition and planning it out. So whenever you want to create a composition, you cannot skip out the fact that it has to be roughly sketched. Many students would always go to the final page. This is my final page, and I will begin to sketch. Understandingly, I believe that you are a great artist. You would be able to sketch very well. But it's not bad to actually start small and make small rough layouts, how things will fit in. If you're having text, where the text is going to go, how far the text is going to go. So where is the place for this is just an example of scribble. Okay. So this, for example, it could be like any, so I want to put a visual in the middle. So visual in the middle, how much is the size of the visual going to be? That is going to be your reference. Because when you start to begin only on that A3 page, it's an open field. You don't know what's coming in. Have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of rough layouts. Composition should be created. And whenever you are creating this is another example. Whenever you are creating a composition, what is it that you require to remember? Certain principles of design, which always work in any composition. All principles of design, all 7 principles of design work. But what you require to focus on in these 3? To my understanding, is definitely you can go back and see emphasis. What is it that you want to bring focus to? So probably if I keep something right in the middle of my poster, then I would definitely have more attention going on there. Now I want the focus to go on the text I've written. I'm giving an example with reference to this. When you are making your poster, you would decide what is it that I want to get my focus at. So I would keep it at a point where it is seen first, so probably in the middle, or I can play also with the size of that thing. Something can be bigger and the things progressively are getting smaller. So I'm creating what emphasis and rhythm. My eye is flowing. My eye is flowing towards, what I want. So emphasis, rhythm is it's a visual tempo. So when you see certain things in repetition, and it is achieved through repetition. When you repeat something over a point, in a line, along an axis or whatever, what happens? The eye travels automatically. So rhythm in a poster or emphasis in a poster, emphasis can be achieved through putting things wherever you want. It can be achieved through color as well. and balance can create a good poster. Balance can be both symmetrical and asymmetrical. You can go back to your notes and you'll be able to see what is balance. So these are three most commonly used principles. Of course, there can be definitely all of them. All of them are applicable, but these three help you to draw an easy composition. If you think that, probably I don't know if I'll be able to make a poster, good poster or not. So, or, I can make a poster, but I don't know whether it is good. So whenever you're using principles of design, they are guidelines. They help you to, really make aesthetic presentation. So you can try and think on these lines. Considering color, and I think something everybody wants to work. Color is something which children enjoy working, we enjoy seeing, but you need to remember when you're working with color, what are you trying to do with color? Are you trying to create contrast? Or are you trying to group elements? Now, when you're grouping elements, the kind of color scheme you would use is analogous color scheme. Okay, analogous means color which sit together on the color wheel. There could be tints, tones, shades also, apart from the colors which sit on the color wheel. But remember, what do I want to project? I want to give a sense of harmony and so a soothing feeling, relaxation. Then I would use grouping elements. I would use probably similar colors. But I want to bring an element of contrast. Like in this one, you would see the element of contrast as a black line drawing, and then probably digitally done, of course. And then there is an orange that brings a contrast. So you decide in the beginning what do you want to do. No, I want to do both. That's not possible. When you want to do both, then try out, split complementary color schemes or double split complementary color scheme and go and see what they are. Now, I'm not saying that stick by the line. You don't stick by the line. You just have an idea of this and then go and explore. Once you begin to explore a couple of try and put the shades on paper and how it comes, you'll be able to do permutation and combination, but you will understand the point. I'm able to bring the focus on this. That's how it should be. Then when you're working with, if you're planning to put any text in your poster, then no yellow color in typography because it's never visible. Unless and until you plan to make the entire background dark. I don't know. But the thing is this, yellow in typography doesn't look that well unless and until you are outlining it with something. So ensuring that typography is visible, and you can see on this chart what is visible against what. So you should be making a fair choice in terms of use of colors in your slogan and caption, whatever you want to do. Neutral is important. With no neutral, there is going to be too much of color, which is not going to be, which might not be able to balance out. So use neutral colors in your some at places, but to hold everything together, you require to use neutral color. And some people might think that too much color might do the trick, but might be just opposite. Use color wisely. Color should support your composition. It should not, take the whole idea away. So ensure that when you're using color, some children are very good with color compositions. Of course, they would not even require this kind of detailing. But some who want to use color might find it difficult. So you can follow this line. And if you think that I'm very good with color, then you can definitely take whatever is relevant to you and work with your ideas. Other thing like trying mixed media. So probably these are just pictures. And so this is just for reference. So you might want to make a 3D relief work, do some 3D detailing. So you can try elements. That's not a problem. But it depends again how much time that's going to take, and have you tried it before? You might have something like that. Some people, since are very good in 3D exploration and the textures and making textures and detailing and stuff like that, they can definitely try it. It can work for them. You can also introduce materials like fabric in your poster. I mean, depends. You can you could. I had a student last year. She actually stitched on her A3 sheet, and it's not stitched really. She actually got those lines done, on the sheet. And then she worked over it. So there are various ways of exploring. It depends on you, what you would like to do, but there's no harm in trying ideas which help you. There is no harm. And if you are somebody who probably would think that probably not drawing, but why not something else? Because probably I'm better in doing something else, then go for it. No problem. Just remember, these will support you. This is not a poster. This is a technique. Okay. Neither is this. Neither is this. Neither is this. None of them are posters. There are techniques which you would probably use in your poster somewhere or as a whole, which will help you to convey the idea better. And here are some examples of the theme-based posters from last year. So you see, this is a storyboard comic strip. Another one. So you will see a lot of handwork. Some we have got work also which is done digitally, but You can do it by hand as well as on the on an application. Doesn't matter. That's a digital one. And there are two more. That was a landscape format. This is portrait. All right, so we will go to portfolio now. See, portfolio, it says one single document, PDF, 10 MB. Now, things that might come in your mind, that what kind of work can come in your portfolio, that means content, you're looking at content. Then how to compile your work, so sorting and sequencing, what should come first and what should come later, that's the most normal question. Probably third one is how much work should I put? These are three basic questions somebody has if you're doing BDS. If you're doing master's, questions are slightly different. So you have to think that it's most obviously these we've tried to compile this. There are more things apart from that. I will just try and name it. You can put it down for yourself. Still life, definitely, with the things kept in front of you, you draw. I mean, it could be out of making up fruits on a plate, or probably things kept on your table. Most likely, it can be done in color. It can be done in pencil. The still life, yes, it could be. Light sketches is you're trying to capture the mood of a movement, a person, probably somebody is moving, sitting, live action basically. So you are trying to put that. So if you're good at anatomy, or maybe you're not that good at anatomy, but you have done that work and you enjoy doing it, so you can put that. Perspective drawing, it's self-explanatory. You've done live sketches in terms of you've gone outside, you've sketched street views, or probably even at home. That can definitely go in. Doodling is your freehand exploration. So basically it's coming out of your mind. So probably in one of the classes, dash class, you can fill in with whatever class you want. So probably I was bored, and what I did is I just doodled. And then probably you'll have some doodling, and they came out really well. And you do it quite often, just sit with your notebook and you just doodle. So those doodlings can always form a very good part of your background work. And of course, directly you can show that, put that work in your portfolio. So fashion illustrations and styling. Fashion illustration definitely direct. You know the meaning of fashion illustration, and styling would mean I have tried a variety of clothing. So for example, when you open Amazon, you end up seeing clothes being put in a particular way, and then you would continue to scroll through it, seeing how this particular dress is going, and this particular top is going, and this particular shoe is going. So what we would do is that's called styling. So you might enjoy doing it. So some children some people like to do it, and they end up being stylists. So you can try that. If you like to do it, you can put those photographs. So that would come in photography, but it's actually fashion styling. Portraits is self-explanatory in any medium of your choice. Then of course paintings. Paintings they are done by you in any medium. No medium is not a constraint. And finally, posters, logos, book covers, anything that you have made. So probably you made a book cover for a school, school magazine, that can go. You made a logo for an event in your school, that can go in. Or probably for a community, something has happened in your community, or probably an event happened in your community, and you made a post, logo for it, or a pamphlet for it. You can put that. That can a competition, a poster for a competition. Think about ideas like that, and you can include all that. And apart from that, what you can do is definitely 3D modeling. Any model that you've made, it could be anything. And apart, say really, really anything. Students ask in class, can I put that? But the thing is this, why not? If you've made it, so probably you've done something on glass, you've done something on a mirror, done something on the floor, decorated something, or of course you've done some really good models in school, or just like that for the sake of fun. You've explored different materials and mediums. They can form really good part of your portfolio. See, all of that can go. This is of course a model, but exploring the material, but that is also photography. Photography can form a very good part of your portfolio. Not really, I would not say a lot of it, but photography can go in your portfolio. And that can include food photography, or fashion photography, or nature photography, or any photography for that. Then landscape and nature drawing, I think that's something very easy to understand. Storyboards and animated characters, you can do it on your on an application, or you can do it by hand. It's your choice. Apart from that, collaborative work, if you've done in school along with your friends, you can acknowledge it that this was collaborative work, and you can put that. Science models can go in. You have done rangoli at home, that can go in. Anything that you probably helped your mother, you learned stitching with your mother, probably anything like that. You can just put it. A hobby course that you've done and you enjoyed doing it, that can go in. So any portfolio means it's my work, it's my creative work that I am presenting. Now that can be anything, but it has to be your work. It cannot be really, it has to be more or less original. Sometimes students take inspiration from, say they've taken a inspiration from a famous painting. But then of course you have to acknowledge that you've taken inspiration from that painting, but you've changed probably the colors and probably some kind of, detailing the shapes and, other details in the painting, and you made something of it that you can say, mention that this is inspired, something you've taken from, say, online. So, but you have to mention that this reference is, I have taken this, I've got inspiration for this from, mention. And of course, we're not assuming that's going to be a lot of work like that. That's going to be just some work like that. So some work is fine, and you can definitely put work like that if you think that's good. And so sorting out, what's the normal way of sorting out? There's no set framework, but the way when you put your work is, remember, it actually depends upon the amount of pages. So 5 to 10 pages of slides of core area of interest. Suppose I'm somebody, I love portraits, so I'll put portraits. Probably 10 pages, 10 portraits, or I will have 10 slides where I only talk about portraits. If I have a lot of work, we are looking at somebody, we are looking at it from the point of view that somebody has really less work and somebody has a lot of work. So therefore, if I've done a lot of work, then I have to choose from it. If I've done less work, then there's less to choose from. So probably then portrait. So let's get back to portrait. 10 pages of portrait, 2 on a page, and then how I do it. And then I've done explore different mediums also in portrait. Tried in different things. Then you put all of them, not just pencil. Try different things. And then probably next could be probably say I have, after that, work which you learned with self effort and persistence. So probably that could be what it could be, say, watercolor paintings. Okay, watercolor. I put 5 watercolor paintings, but I've enjoyed it. And you can share your experience. What was your experience? Why did you held on to it? What made you continue to do it? What was it? Please mention that. Then follow it with trial and error work you enjoyed. Something. So probably let's take an example of stitching again, or probably clay, pottery. I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure if I'll do it. But I have that work. So probably 2 slides of that. And then follow it up with all the doodling work you've done, rough sketches. Your rough sketches doesn't mean, crumpled paper. I mean, rough sketches probably left somewhere. That you have to take out. The quality of work is extremely important. They are visually very sensitive people. That's what I've realized. You cannot just give them any page and it will work for them. So the quality of the work that you put in might be old, might be done in a rough copy, might not be that nicely done, but it's still maintained. So that is very important. You need to do that. And if you have got any awards and recognition for anything, what commission work, you can definitely add variety means as much as possible. So you remember that there has to be width and depth. That I've always told my students that remember that there has to be width and depth. You should have variety as much as possible. Not saying that you're going to do it now. You cannot do any work now unless and until you have no work. So therefore, you should have variety and you should have depth. So depth would be in something that means having more options in one. That would be my area of interest. That's how you build your portfolio. And so, how many pages would you like to put in? Anything between 50 to 40. Photographs mean you've clicked pictures of your work and you've scanned them, you've compiled them into PDF. Yes, it can go. Students like that get through. There's no problem. Some people they cannot do with 15. They're thinking I've got through an idea, I have to show more work, or probably, also I have so much work to present. Then you can go anywhere between 50 to 40. In that case, the slides will have 2 to 4 images, not more than that. It depends upon the amount of work also. I mean, the size of the box. There will be miniature paintings, then you can have probably 10 on a page. But probably max, keep a limit to work. Don't just get carried away thinking this is such a good work I have. Agreed. But then are you going to do the same? Are you going to make a portfolio for what 60, 70 pages, which of course cannot be compiled? You know that there's a size. So you have to choose the work and then definitely compile it accordingly. I can give more weightage to one kind of work. So probably I have 4 slides of four images or 6 images each of probably say, you know, of watercolor paintings, but I have probably 7 slides of portraits and have more variety, and then probably follow it up with other things. But that's you have to visualize. Another thing that's important to share here, and I'm probably towards the end of this presentation, that you remember that whenever you are doing this, it depends upon the pages. Now, if I have less work, I'll use a portrait format. Portrait, you get big pictures coming in. Probably one picture on a page, you have 5 pages like that, and then you have two pictures on a page. One on the top and one on the one bottom, depending upon if the picture is in landscape. So a portrait format is best when you have, you can show full pictures. Landscape is better because when you want to have a lot of work, what are you going to do? So then it works. Normally, landscape would work better like that. If you're sharing the work digitally, it is important that you keep considering the file size. And choose a layout, which I've mentioned. Choose a layout which gives you maximum option of space. I mean, there's certain presentations which have a lot of, details here and there, here and there. So the focus goes in the details. Keep it really simple. I mean, if you do that, what will happen? You will be able to put more work and the focus will go on your work. So choose a layout, choose a format, choose a orientation which allows you to, which is compatible with your work, which gives you more scope to work, which also gives you the safety that probably if I don't have much work, I can do it 10 also, I can do it 15 also, but I need to present it nicely. You can talk about your work. If you have limited work, then also consider anything between 15 to 20 is a good size. 20, you should have 20 pages. Come on, you're applying for an institute like NIT, you would have 20 pages of work. Whereas because definitely there's a lot of creative zing in you, so you'll find out work. And in that case, explain about it. Explain whatever you have done with respect to each of the work. And that would give you you can stay assured that it is not the number of pages you get through. Of course, you cannot even present 5 slides and get away with it. But the thing is this, it's the work, and your heart should be in that work. Originality should be your character and your element should come in, and that it's very easy for them to understand because they have your first round that prelims paper, and they'll be able to see your work in hand. They'll be able to make out if this is your work. Keeping originality and happily trying to complete this, I think it's going to be a good learning experience for you. So I think I have majorly covered everything, and I'll like to now stop my screen share and hand it back to Hina ma'am.
Thank you so much, Gauri ma'am. I think it will help all the students to understand what NID wants in portfolio and thematic reflective. So thank you so much once again. And now I will introduce Preksha. Now Preksha will give the insights of portfolio and what they have like done in their thematic reflectives and what type of portfolio they have shown in the NID thing, and about the basic because as they have gone through an interview round also. So I just want to understand what particular insights were there. So just Preksha, over to you. Um, just explain things to the students so it will be easy for them to understand about everything.
Yeah. So first I'll share my thematic reflective presentation. And should I share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So there were two topics given to us when we were having the thematic reflective presentation. There is the memorable journey. First topic was the memorable journey, and the second topic is the failure which you have gone through in the life and you have been motivated from it. So I've taken the topic of memorable journey, and I am basically good at working on the illustration and showing the stories in the form of illustration. So I showed all of my memorable journey through one illustration where I included a path which shows a journey. There are, of course, the place which I went. There is that is Mount Abu, and it is a spiritual kind of journey. We have gone through with some religious work. So I have used all the color schemes, which are all calm colors, and all the tints of the colors, which shows the harmony and we can say the calmness of that place and of the state of mind which is there when we go through some religious journey. So that is it in the thematic reflective presentation which I have. Of course, you have to from the process of brainstorming, you have to think about the stories. There are many stories in our life which are memorable to us. I shortlisted 2 to 3 stories, then I came up with one story which I want to get through to the presentation. Then I worked different thumbnails, short thumbnails, and like visually representing it, which one would look good, more good. And then the color scheme, of course, I worked on whether to go with the tints or bright colors or the shades. So you have to, that is the process of brainstorming. You have to go through that, and after that, it is easy to work through your reflective presentation. So this is it in the reflective presentation. Now I'm showing you my portfolio. I've kept the layout very simple because I want to focus more on my work. So this is my just the basic introduction of why I want to pursue designing and what are my basic interests. Like I'm more interested in geometry and sustainability thing. So that is just the gist of what I am interested in. Then there is, I have included index where I have put the categories which of works which I am been doing in the portfolio. And at that time, I was not sure about in which field I want to go. So I have kept all of my work related to different fields. So there are graphic design, textile, then there are life sketches, nature study, abstract, and some still lifes. And then there is digital work, some. So in graphic design, I that time I had done just the automobile stuff. So this is the vehicle study illustration which I had done. This is one, and this is the second. So here the medium is poster color. I have mentioned the size, the medium, and the uh, just one heading which you can give to your artwork. Then there is textile design. I have like just included the foliage and geometric shapes in it, which I am more interested in, and I have divided it in color palette. I have mentioned the medium, the size. Then there is creative composition. This is mixed media. I want to like play with the mediums. This is pencil color, and of course the newspaper cuttings, and then there is also some paints here and there. So this is just a creative composition which I had done. Then just some concept of product design, which like when we were studying in the coaching, we developed in the classes, and I fared it out and I included it. Then these are live sketches of the product, live sketches of the product study. This is just a pen and ink and like different parts of the product. This is another product. It's like different views, different components. These are all live. Then there is another work of doodling. This is just the extra work I had. Then there are live sketches. Live sketches, you can include anything in live sketches, of course, because live sketches are the ones which help us develop our skills. So do include live sketches in your portfolio, and there could be anything, human figures, vehicle, product. Uh, do as much live as you can. So these are just the live sketches which I had done. These are human figure sketches which I practiced, and like some of them are like we used to refer to images and then practice them. You can include them, but yeah, just include your rough sketches which are live, which you have practiced and gone through. These are just the interaction of human part and an object. If you are interested in anatomy, you can include your hand anatomy or like the legs anatomy. This is these all the gestures are done live. So I have included them because anatomy study is I am interested in that time. And also like I work in different mediums. So there are portraits, the two portraits I have done. I've included them. I've mentioned the size, the medium. Then this is the nature study, animals. Then this is the foliage study, the leaves. These are all done live, all the leaves. Work in any medium you want, like any medium which you are good at, but try to include the variety of things. If you are confused in going which of the fields you can. These are the landscapes. I wanted to work with all of the mediums. I want to explore different mediums. So I have included all of the watercolor, poster color, pencil, and all of that stuff. This is on canvas. Although all the before pictures are on paper. Also the pebble painting. I have done some of the pebble paintings. I included just the two images. Then there are some origami things, the book I have gone through to develop some techniques and skills. I've included those images in it. Then this is just the abstract, just exploring the brushes and the ideas. Then this is the one still life. And digital work, I was starting then. I just included two of the works just to show that I am exploring in that medium also. This is it. Hope you find it
Patricia,
interesting.
it was a very impressive portfolio and a very beautifully done things. Okay, can you just share some experience of your interview? How was your interview and what they've asked? And yeah, just tell me about the things.
Yeah, so the interview, in my case, it was not on the portfolio at all. I was not asked any question about the portfolio. I was asked about my hometown, the place where I live in, because it is famous for that Ratlami Save and all of that. So I was given two questions as a task. One to like just a cube. There is one cube and you have to transform it into a Ratlami Sev. How would you do it? And there is the second question. Because I mentioned that I am interested in geometry and that stuff, model making, solid shapes and all. So they asked me to make a pyramid without using scissors or glue or anything, just basically a sheet of paper in 2 minutes. So they just gave me two tasks and just asked me question about my hometown. There was nothing on my portfolio. So I could not really tell you about what they want in interview because most of the people were asked question based on their portfolio and I was not asked any question about my portfolio. So that's it. You have to be prepared for anything.
Okay, so according to you, what are the three key factors that prove most important for preparation of second round?
First of all, be genuine and be truthful about the stuffs you mention in your portfolio or you mention in your SOP or you mention in your thematic reflective. Don't make anything about with your mind or anything because they can ask you anything and it's because the way you answer them the questions they get the gist of it whether it is truthful whether you are truthful or not. So anything you are going to put it on your portfolio, just be sure that you know everything about it and you are truthful about it whether it is inspired from anything or whether it is your original work. Just be sure of that.
Thank you so much, Preksha. It was really so informative, and I think it will help all the students to understand what they have to put in portfolio and how to they have to work on a thematic reflective. Thanks one again. Hi Samriddhi. Now,
Thank you so
like
much.
I would love to see your portfolio and your thematic thing and your experience of a second round of NID. So just can you share all the things with us and all the students?
Yeah, sure. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this is my portfolio. I kept it very simple and honest. Like I didn't start working for the portfolio when I got the announcement, but I just presented the works I already had. I focused on compiling because, as Gauri ma'am also said, it does take a lot of time. And when you have a lot of work, you really have to choose wisely. Like what do you want to present and how do you want to present yourself? Because your portfolio here is you. You have to be there without being able to speak, if that makes sense. So I started with some self portraits on the cover page, mm, and then I started with this comic. So the thing is that I'm more inclined towards art. So I tried not to put just art. I tried to put everything that I have done because even I am quite inspired by different kind of materials and different kind of things. Like I do storyboarding, I do some charcoal, I do clay, I do canvas. So it's very varied, and I think they would like it. So don't hide anything. Show what you have, even if it is not entirely art based. Portfolio is you, so you are the only one who's going to set the limitations or boundaries of your portfolio. So this is the comic inspired by the life of Frida Kahlo, and here, as you can see, I've credited the cartoonist I'm inspired from. And don't ever take credit for someone else's work. Uh, yeah, be sure of that. Even if you've replicated a painting, mention that. And this is just a comic. One second. So here I've tried to. I had not decided my discipline as of now, so I didn't mention that an animation design portfolio or textile design portfolio. I just mentioned that it is my portfolio, and I think they really liked the honesty. And even now, like we're at the end of the first year, and we're still not sure of what discipline we're gonna take because we've not even been to the campus. So it's like that. Don't be afraid if you're not sure of the discipline or if you can't really make something that is discipline centric. Don't be scared to present your work, be confident about your work, and whatever they will ask you, you are the one who made it, so you're the one who has the answers. And this is the end. So as you can see, we had a limit of 10 MB. So I presented works together in a single page because even this took a lot of time. I had a lot of quantity of work to present, and I was just deciding what to do. So this is some dry pastels. I presented it in that manner, like medium wise, like dry pastels or comics or watercolor or ink or pencil. So that way they can see the variety and they can know what I'm capable of and what I have tried. Scrolling through the portfolio, I'm also going to tell you about the interview. So it wasn't anything too tough. I mean, they just asked basic questions. They asked honest questions, and the only thing that will get you through is that if you are being honest with yourself and themselves. So don't try to be someone else, and be yourself fearlessly. They did ask me to, as they could see from my portfolio, they did ask me to make a portrait on the spot of Gayatri ma'am. She's very sweet. So I didn't know her back then, but now we do. So she asked me to make a portrait of her in like 30 seconds. So I did. So that could happen. Your work, they might ask you. So, just present what you're very confident about. So I was confident I can sculpt something on the spot and I can draw something on the spot. So skill is something I was confident about. So this is something I did for the yearbook. As you can see, it is not something so special that one would put in the portfolio, but I put it because it is something related to my school. So, you know, you can put anything, diversity could be there. You can put some photographs, you can put some paperwork you did, you can put some paper mache, anything you want. It's not just you have to put completed artworks. You can put an unfinished painting and just say that I like it unfinished. What's the matter with that? And oh, now that I'm seeing the portfolio, I can really see how much I've improved in this 1 year at being at NID. No matter how much they make you work, it's really all worth it. This is acrylic. And I've also made sure to put the process pictures because then it will look more original. So this is some variety. This is some random sketches I made on the wall when I was getting bored. It's nothing that I specially did for the portfolio. You don't have to be professional because you are not professional. You're literally just passed out from school, so that's about it. Also, be sure to photograph your work properly because the quality, as you can see, has degraded in the photographs. But in reality, these sketches look much better. Something design centric, something like character design or something that you have done. So here I've put the rough pages as well. Don't try to hide anything. Put the process. They like to see the process. And live sketching also, as Preksha also mentioned, put a lot of live sketches because there is a lot of difference between live sketching and normal sketching from a photograph. And for the, if anyone has any questions, they can ask even on the chat. And then this is the thematic presentation I did. So I did, this was a memorable journey, a simple journey to the hills, my hometown, Uttarakhand. And again, they only asked me about my hometown, nothing much. They didn't ask me about my portfolio. They didn't ask me anything that I thought I didn't knew. So you don't have to prepare for the portfolio. You just have to prepare to be honest and confident. That's about it. I just made an illustration because that was my strong point. Know your strong points and know your weak points and present nicely. All the best.
That's a beautiful presentation, Samriddhi. Thank you so much. And I would like to hear your experience about your interview thing.
Yeah, I was trying to say that as I was presenting, but I'll just repeat. So it was a very short interview. It was, I think it lasted like 12 to 13 minutes. Obviously, I was very scared, but don't be scared. They will make you comfortable. They made me very comfortable, and I was happy to share anything they were asking me. They just want to know you as a person, uh, not as a designer, I think, because they were very nice with me. It was like a conversation, not even a an interview, but I think that could be a personal experience. So I won't comment on that. So it would change with person to person. And yeah, again, then if you present something on your portfolio, you have to be able to do it if they ask you to do, like make a portrait or make a pyramid or, you know, whatever. Yeah, and show them that you're hardworking, not show them, like prove them if you are hardworking.
That's really nice tips given from you, Samruddhi. Now I'll definitely want to come to Farhan. Hi, Farhan, and I would like to see some of your works and kindly share all the things with the students so it will help them to achieve their goals as well, as you people have done last year. So over to you, Farhan.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, of course, Farhan.
Okay, I'll just share my screen. You see the screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. So, like, I started doing this portfolio when I got the information. So I'll just tell you beforehand, do not like, if you guys know softwares like InDesign and other things, it's great. If you don't know, you don't need to worry about it. There are things like Canva and other softwares online that you can compile it properly. It's very easy. It's not tough. Trust me on that. So I'll go through my portfolio. So I personally, I'm not very good at sketching. Like I'm okay, decent, but I'm not very good at it. So I put in what I was good at, and I'll recommend you guys to put in that as well. So like if you suppose good at anything, literally anything, put in that. So I first put in my product design sketches, just random sketches, and these are some of them. And also, I'll tell you that I first made a whole big portfolio out of like, I think 80 pages. And then I concised it into like a small number. So like 23 pages over here. So you just need to know what you need to put beforehand. Like just see what your like your good work is. You put that forward to make the best impression to them. And so yeah, so like I made these things in digitally in Maya and Keyshot. Yeah, these are just a few models that I made. So I was really into product design since 10th grade. So I knew what I wanted, but if you don't know, it's totally fine. It's not a problem at all. You just need to put in your personal best work that you've put in. That's it. And yeah, that's what about the product design stuff. And few of my artworks over here. This is done digitally. You can put some digital stuff as well. These are a few digital sketches that I did. And then also over here, as you can see that I did this sketch or A2 size sketch, like a painting. So you need to like, if they ask you about your work, you need to, you need to be able to explain it personally. Like what was your experience in like working towards it? What was your idea behind that thing? So like suppose this is my painting. I had a whole description on the left side, a concise description, very small description. So like it can like that description can explain what you did. What was your process behind the whole idea behind the whole project? That's something you can keep in mind. And yeah, so like this is a live sketch that I did. So as Samriddhi and everybody else said that you need to put some live sketches as well, which is very important, like to see how your skills are. And this is some other drawing as well. And like I also did some photography as an extra work. I'll show you this as well. And I will also show you my other big portfolio to show you exactly how I concised it into like small. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes, Farhan.
Okay, 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. Just share. Yeah, this is the one. I think it's. I'll just share the other one, the thematic presentation. One second. So in this as well, you just need to put in the truth. Like you just need to know what you need to put in. Like do not lie about anything. Trust me, they'll get to know if you're lying. And this is something I went through. So I took the second topic, which was your experience, which is the second topic. And then in that, I explained, I made a storyboard kind of thing over here, as you can see. You can just go through it. I'll start talking about it. You just read it right now. I'll just go through it in a minute. So yeah, like this is what I did. Like as you can see, I'm not very good at sketching, but I effectively portrayed my idea of like what I went through, your personal experience. You can portray that with a lot of ideas. So like first you sketch it in a rough sketch, like a rough idea. Just ideate few ideas. So like have 2-3 ideas separately or something, and then select from them. And then after that, analyze it and then choose the one that you like that suits the topic the best. You can ask a faculty as well regarding what is much better, and just like take their opinion on it as well. To like help, like they can help you out as well. That's the best thing about this. Like they'll help you out totally. And yeah, so I did this, and then over here you can see a gradual change in scenarios that I personally portrayed, and that's about it for this. And then I also put in a like I created this quote or something underneath, which is basically which grabs their attention because it's all caps. So you can do something like that as well. Yeah, that's about it for the thematic presentation. Any
That's
questions?
really nice, Farhan. So can you just share me about your interview thing?
Sure.
What type of questions they have
Sure.
asked you?
Sure. My interview was really nice because I personally, they asked me many questions. Like it was very different than Samriddhi and other people as well. Because I showed my work and they asked me about my work and they asked me about how does this thing work. And they particularly asked me about few other products and how do you mold stuff and all. So like the questions that they ask will be related to your work and will be something that you showed them. So you need to know what you showed and you need to know everything properly that you showed, like in detail, because they can ask you anything about that. And like they also asked me things like where I'm from and like what I like to eat and all that stuff as well. So like some random common questions. Like they just want you to like get in the zone first, and then they continue asking you few detailed questions. Yeah.
That's really nice, Farhan.
Yeah. Don't worry about the interview. It's gonna be good. Trust me.
Thanks for sharing your experience.
Thank
And
you.
just a normal question: how was your journey in BRDS?
It was
Was
really
online
nice.
or it was offline?
It was offline.
It was
I
offline.
was in Please
So
Be Happy.
any tips for the student who have done a full year of online studies in this pandemic situation?
Sure. Just be focused. Trust me. Like, just know what you're doing. Like, just be focused on your work. Like, do a lot of sample papers that are really important. Like, you already cleared the first round. That's amazing. Congratulations on that, first of all. And like, yeah, trust me, your interview is going to be amazing. Do not worry on that. And also, while making a portfolio, like, just analyze all the work first. That's the main key point. Analyzing your work is just the thing you have to do, and then you have to like put in properly, and all that stuff comes later. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Farhan. That's really nice to